Good morning, evening, or afternoon, or night to anyone watching. I hope this recording reaches you well. I am here at the lovely Mission Grounds here in Evansville, Indiana, by myself today. I had the lovely Matt and Leslie on last week, and I had a great conversation. I look forward to having more conversations with them in the future. Look forward to having more conversations with others in the future. Actually, currently, I will speak on this temporarily. I'm just going to kind of flow with it. I think I'm just going to kind of feel it out. Something I was thinking about just right before I started recording was the time element of things, is making sure that I have time and allocate enough time to the growing and the growth process, and making sure I get comfortable with certain things, and instead of forcing myself into certain things and trying to cheat code my way into level 10, I got to actually be there and be present for all the levels through it. So just making sure I show up here with myself or here with my guests or anything like that, that's more important than trying to force something that I want to envision down the line. So I'm going to flow with it. I say that to say that there will be more guests soon. I don't know when. I don't know exactly what schedule they'll be on, but I'm just gonna flow with it. As simple as that. I'm just gonna flow with it. But this week, I'm gonna be talking about objects. This week, today, right now, we're gonna be talking about objects. But in a larger sense than objects, I want to talk about my season of investment. Interesting. In an even larger sense than that, I want to talk about my thoughts on seasons of investment and assessment. So let's get into it. First, I want to talk about my actual relationship and history with objects. I usually go into the mall. Actually, I used to go into the mall and just about every payday, I would just buy stuff for no real reason or no real intentionality outside of that. Just for the fact of really just because I felt like I needed to fill some kind of hole. Like I needed to just... It was an activity for me, and it wasn't an investment at all. It was pure consumption. I just got paid a little bit of money, and I decided, you know what? Let me just go acquire some objects. Arbitrarily just acquire objects, and that's no good, right? Obviously, for many reasons, that's no good. So that was my relationship, my history with objects. I'll say specifically after I started making my own money. And then at a certain point, I kind of reached a level of object acquisition, if you will, or just arbitrary purchases, to where that kind of inspired my minimalism. That's what, after a certain point of doing all this and acquiring so much and realizing I just had so much extra stuff hanging around, and that was all taking my energy to some degree, that's when I started going after the practice and the, I guess, philosophy of minimalism, where I would be very intentional about what objects I acquire, what objects I bring in, and then that started about a year ago for me today. Actually about a year and a half ago today. And once I started working on my minimalism, then I just started to shed objects. Just started to shed so much, not just the physical objects, but also just the mental connection to those objects as well. And fun fact about that, actually, maybe not a fun fact, but I guess a little thing off of the side of the story here, that took a lot longer. Talking about time again, that took a lot longer than I thought. The cost of... A little sniffly here today. It's kind of cold outside, sorry. The cost of acquiring all these objects is much greater than you think it is. You think, oh, well, it's going to be the cost of entry, right? Like I'm going to go to the store, something costs $10, I'm going to buy it for $10 and I'm going to bring it home. Well, there's even more costs that are involved in that, like say gas or time it took you to find the thing or to try it on, or maybe you brought it home and it was the wrong size and you took it back and you had to do it again and get the right size, maybe it was damaged. Like, so there's the cost of time, there's the cost, the tangible costs of all the things it took to acquire that thing itself. But what I'm talking about here in the I guess post-minimalist mindset is the cost of what to do with it now that you have it, or what to do with it if you don't need it anymore. That's a whole different thing. How do you get rid of it? How do you get rid of it from a healthy, I guess I forget what the word is, but healthy or economically, geologically, I don't know. Like, I'm trying to think about like the proper word for getting rid of it in a healthy sense instead of just taking it to the landfill. I'm trying to think of a responsible way to get rid of it. But anyway, essentially the way you do that is through giving it away to somebody, or to trade it for something else, like sell it on Marketplace or on eBay, Craigslist, something along those lines. But that takes time, that takes effort, that takes energy, pricing it and getting the right pictures for it and all those kind of things. And then how much stuff do you have to do, right? It's so easy to bring things into your house, and it's not nearly that easy to get rid of it. So, and it doesn't even have to necessarily be your house. It could be whatever your emotional home is. It could be your workplace. It could be your home. It could be your friend's house. It could be your car. It could be anything like that, right? So that's just a little deviation there. That's a part of my experience, is that with minimalism, I've learned that it takes a really, really, really long time to shed so much of what you acquired. I mean, I can acquire, let's say, 100 things in a year, and it's going to take me 3-4 years to finally really be rid of those things. So there's that. Another thing too about that as well is that you actually might kind of somewhat half use those things as well, which I found interesting. Like, there's some clothes that I had where I wasn't really about them anymore, but they're the ones I had. So I had to still kind of use them, and I had to find something that I could use to replace it. And it's a big, long process. But yes, it takes a long time to shed all those things. And that brings us to today. My current relationship with, my alarms went off, my apologies. My current relationship with objects is to be highly intentional with any purchase. My goal with every purchase is to never have to buy that thing again, or basically just to invest. That's my mindset now. After just arbitrarily just buying things for the sake of buying things, just consumption for consumption's sake, now my mindset is realizing the cost of these things, realizing the cost of objects. I do not want to be in that position again. So if I bring something in and I acquire something, then it has to be valuable to me in the long term. And that's what investment is. And actually, if you do a quick Google search as to what the definition of investment versus consumption is, it is consumption is the purchase of goods and services. Yeah, consumption is a purchase of goods and services for the acquisition of current utility. Investment is the expenditure on capital goods for the acquisition of future utility. So basically, essentially, just being future-minded. Having the ability to think in the future and think, what am I going to need in the future? What's going to help me in the future? I saw an example somewhere that said that consumption is like buying a toy, and investment is like buying the manufacturing plant that manufactures the toy. See what I'm getting at here? So with that in mind, I've been investing in my personal life and my work life, if you will. Now, with the ideas that we have here at the Spiritual Net Worth, the separation between work and life isn't really there, or at least shouldn't be. That's my opinion. That's where I come from. I don't think that they should really be. I move in tandem with the two. I believe that the spiritual life, the personal life, if you will, the individual, the internal, and the external all mirror each other. I think if you work on your internal, that mirrors out to your, or that expands and echoes out into your external. And when that expands and echoes out into your external, I think that echo comes back to you. At least you receive that, and then that becomes more internal information. So yes, I think that I think in the West here we separate the personal versus work life a lot, but I don't necessarily think that those should be as separate as they are. But we'll talk about that more in another episode one day. But here lately, I've been making purchases and acquiring objects in order to serve a future utility, investing quite aggressively. That basically there has been a reason for each thing that I've had, and this has all been within a season of investment. It's about 6-ish months lately, and I feel like God gave me the signals to just go, right? To just simply go and just go ahead and do it and bet on myself. You know what? I'll tell the story too. for Christmas at I'll leave it at just a place, a social gathering place. For Christmas, I was given a scratch off card, and the scratch off was for $7,000. Now, it was given to everyone, like all the people got it, and I'm looking over at this person, and they started scratching it off immediately as soon as they opened it up, and then someone else asked for like a coin that they had to scratch it off, and they threw them the coin, and they started scratching off across from me. And I was just sitting there holding my scratch offs, looking at them doing this, and I'm just thinking to myself, like, dang, like like y'all really quick to jump to this. Like, no judgment, no hate. I'm just saying, like I had to think about it. Like, I had to think about if I want to put the energy, regardless of what I win, I had to think about if I want to put the energy toward scratching this thing off. Like, what return would I get in gambling and risking, in even if I got the whole amount of money? Is that really the way I want to do it? Is that the way I want to attract that kind of financial abundance toward me? And I just put it back on my desk here, and I just left it. It's still there. I haven't even touched it, because what I thought to myself was, you know what? If I'm going to be gambling, if I'm going to be betting, if I'm going to be risking something, I guess, to some degree, if I'm going to be gambling on just chance that I'm going to receive this $7,000 just from scratching it off, why don't I put that same energy into myself? Why not? If I'm going to be, if I'm going to be betting on something, might as well bet on myself. So now I have that actually as a reminder to me. Like, can I make that same amount of money in my way? Can I gamble something? Can I risk something doing it my way for me, so I can actually get a return on the investment? And the thing is, going back to cost, it's the same thing coming toward you as it is at going away from you. So just like I said about the cost thing, if I were to spend $10 on something, that's just a part of the true cost of the thing. Now, if I were to receive $10, that's just a part of the abundance that I'm receiving. So if I get paid $10, then that also means that now I have a client that I could possibly get another $10 out of next month, right? Now I have a client that I can get another $10 out of next month, and a reference to get another client that I can get another $15 from, maybe. You see what I'm saying? One could possibly inform two, and two is closer to informing four. That's kind of what I'm getting at here. Instead of just so much such a transactional, such a streamlined way of thinking, a kind of tunnel vision way of thinking of, oh, here's $10, that's it. No, like this is an opportunity for more. Now, you could just give me 20, and that might alienate that client, or that might alienate this relationship, and it might just be transactional, and I could be happy about this 20 and be happy, and yay. But no, you're not seeing the other cost. That extra $10, doubling your profit right now, could be decreasing your profit over a long period of time. So kind of what I'm getting at here. So yes, essentially I'm getting at to the point where, how can I attract this $7,000 abundance to me in relation to this scratch off? How can I attract this $7,000 worth of just money toward myself, and then also get more abundance, get more value out of that, because now I have more clients, more work, more proof of concept. See what I'm saying? So now, having bet on myself, I'm looking at all my objects, all my things, all the things I'm related to, and just being very intentional about what I'm looking toward in the future. Now, I will say real quick though, I'm no financial expert by any means at all. I'm not some financial advisor. I'm not anything like that, right? These are just my thoughts. My thoughts are just purely my own, and these are just things that I have experienced. But I figured that it'd be helpful if I could share these thoughts and put them out onto the internet for someone else to see. Hopefully, someone who was like me 5 years ago could see this and find some value in it. Hopefully. But now, having become aware of my emotional and subconscious intentionalism in investing, I began to think about when I don't have that inclination, right? When don't I have that inclination to invest? I began to realize that there are periods of my life where I don't really need, or at least feel like I need anything. I had what I needed for that season, and that season is what I call assessment season. So earlier we talked about the investment and the assessment seasons. So right now I'm going through a really aggressive investment season. I'm seeing a lot of change in my life. There's been a lot of internal change in things. And so now you're going to have to update or grow or attract new tools or new objects in order to achieve those things, or I guess to better aid in your current lifestyle, right? So I've been pretty aggressively investing in things, both in the personal and work, different aspects of my life, which really is just the same thing in my opinion. But I realized while thinking about all this that there are seasons that are more chill. There are seasons where I just have what I need. If I was going to do a project for 6 months, working with one of the clients here in the city, then if I have all the tools that I need, then I just have that. Now, obviously, you get your batteries, you get your, I don't know, like your C-stands or something. I don't know. You get little things here and there, but that's not really an investment period. You just need a couple things here and there. You get a new hard drive, sure, right? Those are like almost consumables within your business, at least for me. But when you just generally have what you need, see what I'm saying? Those seasons I'm now calling the assessment season. Those are times for you to now look at what you have, look at all of your objects, look at all your abundance, look at where you are in your lifestyle, in your cash flow, in your goals, in your dreams, in your plans, all that kind of stuff, and really just assess everything. That could be a time where you take what you have acquired, what you have invested in over the last season, and you can shed those things, a couple of those things. You can add on to it. You can add an attachment. You can, beef it up. You can wash it, dry it, clean it, whatever you need to do. Charge it up. Or you can just leave it the way it is, right? Like, it's really just a time for you just to look. Just to look. It's a season of rest and evaluation of your objects, your lifestyle, your trajectory, your opportunities. It's almost like a rest day before exercising your energy again, or exerting your energy again at the gym. It's a time for you just to be able to just relax and grow. And then once it comes time to again, then you can start investing. So that's generally the idea I had going into this, is just the investment and the assessment time. I think it's beautiful, man. I think it's quite beautiful. I made a video actually. I end up just I'm kind of kicking myself. I'll be honest here and say that I'm kicking myself because I deleted it off my GoPro, because I should have formatted the card before I started recording, but I didn't. I forgot to, and I wanted to make sure I had space for this recording, and I deleted this video back off my GoPro. I'm kind of regretting that right now in this moment. But what it was about was, it was me talking about investing, and it was me saying that it's actually a video of me right after I bought my MacBook. Like, outside of the store, I was in my truck and I just like held up my MacBook like to the camera in my truck, and I was saying like I'm proud of myself. I'm happy about my decisions. I'm glad that I did what I did, and to me it's symbolic of me betting on myself. I didn't tell the whole story about the scratch off, but that was in my head. Like, if I have this thing over here, then how can I make moves over here to get that and more? Screw the $7,000. What if I got 14? Like, how can I just double this, right? Like, if you give me this energy, which probably I'm going to get $10 off of it, $2, $5 off of it, really, right? Which that's not even worth my time or energy to even think about that. If I did get the $7,000, screw that. I'm just leave it right here. I want to frame it. Like, I want to put it in a shadow box, right? And I want to double what I could have made off of that with my own investment, with betting on myself. I want to do that. So in that video, actually, I referenced how that there was like this like 4-year long cycle almost, I think, where, at least that's what I've noticed before, where at that time where I bought that MacBook 4 years ago from then, which is very recently, by the way, 4 years ago from then, I bought my first, what I consider my first investment, which is my GH5, my Panasonic GH5. And that's what I started doing higher quality videos with, because before then I had a Canon T3i, which I bought 4 years before that. So I noticed this cycle of big investments, of really big investments to me, right? Big things that are really important and impactful to me, that change a lot of things for me. They happened on a 4-year-long cycle. And I'll end this recording off here too, on the same note that I ended off that one, which, rest in peace, it's gone forever now. But I ended that recording off talking about how, where am I going to be in the next 4 years? Where am I going to be in the next 4 years? What am I going to be doing? What am I going to be talking about? What am I going to have? What am I going to invest in 4 years from now that's going to change the whole game for me? And it was a message to myself saying that I'm excited to talk to myself. I'm excited to watch this recording again, which I'm probably going to be I'm probably going to be cringing the whole time because I don't like hearing myself talk. But if I was if I was able to stand listening to myself for 20 minutes, talk about something, at the very end, I'm curious to have the connection with myself now, with where I am 4 years from now, talking about whatever I'm talking about. I could just imagine it now. Like, this has already happened, honestly, for real. I'll be stressed about something. I'll be working on something, thinking about something, trying to figure out how to make this move, make that move, make this happen over here. And then I'll happen upon a video that I released like 6 years ago, 6, 7, 5 years ago, something like that. And I watch it and I go, man, like, it's so simple. Like, it's so simple, and the video's kind of bad and it's ridiculous. But I guess like the simplicity that I'm getting from it, like the read I'm getting on this video here, is that it's simple, that I just grew. Like, I'm here trying to stress things out now and trying to, or I guess I am stressing things out now. I'm trying to figure things out, trying to make something happen, and trying to make some move to do this thing, to do that thing for some desirable outcome and all that stuff. That's which my heart's in the right place. But if I just gave it time, what I'm seeing in this video from 6 years ago, where I'm running around my backyard, like, dude, it's so silly. I gotta do a video one day of like just going back through my old videos. I gotta talk about that. But no, I'm watching this video, man, like from this old video that I recorded, and it's just so simple to me how in time my life completely changed. And yeah, I'll leave it off on that note. I think that's a good note to leave it off on, because that touches on a more abstract part of investment as well, which is the time investment. But yeah, so I think that's a good way, a good little conversation around investment, investing, objects, assessment, and time. Pretty much the season I'm in right now, the kind of mindset that I'm in right now. So thank you guys for watching. I appreciate the viewership. If this recording reaches you well, please leave that in comments. If this recording gave you any kind of value, if you found any kind of value in this, please leave that in the comments and share your thoughts, share to other friends. And yes, I hope you guys have